well, I come from a little bin of a different background in the sense I do no research or investigation. I'm a practical economist, having been in that business a long time. But in recent years, when I've read some of this literature, it seems very natural to me, because one of the things I did at J.P. Morgan was participate in a risk management effort. Was basically how to control traders to make them make fewer mistakes, do a better job. And in that process, it was very clear that humans are not good at doing certain things. And it's the exact same things I read in the papers on neuroeconomics. They don't deal well with probability distributions, particularly the tails and small probabilities. They're very associative. They associate one thing with another for reasons that aren't rational, you can say. They're very scenario-oriented. They like to think in terms of a pattern that plays out that is like the real world. They can't separate themselves from that. And all of these things are not very helpful in terms of pricing a derivative security, say, or positioning in the market. You need to be rational if you want to make money in that business. So back in the 70s, we used to try to use ways to train people to be better. For example, we'd ask them to give us probability distributions. This is our best traders. And we would collect them, and we would talk about them, make people think about them, and show them the historical ones. And then we'd come back 6 months later and say, look, you've given me this probability distribution on where the 10-year bond yield's going to be. And 55% of the time, the result is in a box over here that you put 0 probability of happening. There's something wrong here. And, you're just not quite right. And we thought this would make them do a better job. And I would say all of this effort in the 70s was hopeless. You'd tell them that 6 months later, they'd come back and do the same thing. And this was the best traders. These guys weren't awful at this. They're actually doing a pretty good job out there. And it really goes to show you what the research says, is that people are hardwired to work in certain ways, and they do certain things well, and they do not do other things well, and it's very difficult to get them to do it. Now, since then, the financial world has moved in ways of just take these decisions out of individuals' intuitive grasp. You've got big computer models, algorithms, which are driving things. And an investment bank would never let some individual in the seat of his pants say, I think that's what that derivative security ought to be worth. It's just not how it's done. You haven't made the people better. You've taken the control away from the people, or you've structured it in a way that you've protected yourself from their shortcomings, at least to a large degree. That's how you got these things working better. Not improving the people, but putting up a separate system or structure to do it in. So I sort of come from a world that uses some of these things and experiences them.